I've been receiving numerous emails from parents regarding technological requests. We need to figure out how we will gather the right information to determine what technology should be used for the students. Anybody?
So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the SETT framework, but I have learned a good extensive amount of information that could probably help us with the technological requests that we've been having from parents.
That framework? Not too familiar with it. Please explain more.
Well, SETT is an acronym for Student Environment Tasks and Tools. Basically, it's a framework set for all those who are involved in the process of creating anything regarding an IEP for the student to help them advance in their potentials. So most of the time, this framework is used as a guide, not necessarily a process that we have to follow, but it works as a guide for us to include everyone who's involved with the student in order to make the right and adjustable modifications or any technology needed for the student to succeed.
So what kind of questions are we looking at to fulfill this framework and of the understanding of the student's needs?
Well, when you look at the different questions we're going to ask, we want to look at 3 different areas. 1 being the student, 2 the environment, and 3 the tasks. When we look at the student's purpose, we want to look at the concern. We want to look at the functional areas, special needs if they are related to the concern, current abilities, expectations, and interests and preferences. When we look at the environment instructional area, we also want to be looking at the different supports that are going to be needed, materials, equipment, the access issues, and the attitudes and expectations. Now, when we discuss technology, this is going to be very important because we want to ensure that the environment is always going to be accessible through all fields. When we discuss the tasks, the specific tasks should be catered to the mastery of the IEP. So regarding with all the environment and the students' needs, we also want to filter in on those IEP goals and seeing whether or not the type of technology that we provide for students is in fact going to be a progress in his mastery when we look at his goals.
So what you're saying is everyone is involved in this discussion. This looks like a lot of work, and I'm not sure if this would be feasible.
Actually, it could be quite feasible if we learn to set the framework that will work with everyone. So as long as we're meeting the 3 main specific areas for that particular situation, I believe we can do it. All it would really take would be our shared knowledge amongst everyone that is involved in the student's learning, constant collaboration, because even though we have created a framework for that particular student, it does not necessarily mean that that is the end of all. We still need to be ensuring that the goals that we created and that the type of technology catered to mastery of those goals are in fact helping. And this goes across the environment that the student is in, as well as what the student is doing at that time. The most important thing we want to really focus on is that everyone here is going to have some type of collaboration, and that we have to, have multiple perspectives in order for this to work. I believe that in order to build a good and solid foundation framework for a student for particular technology or any other type of decision that we make involving the student's IEP is definitely important to involve as many people as we can. If we work together, we will have a greater chance of lowering barriers to the student's achievement. If we make quick solutions to different problems in the student's IEP, such as technology, I believe that we will not have a good sound understanding of why we're using particular modifications and accommodations for students. That's why this framework is definitely going to be a really good guide to help us understanding which different types of accessibilities the students should need.
It sounds doable, but what if the parents decide they want to trial out these devices?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. I think in order for parents to really trial out, we definitely need to be looking at other resources. Now, I know that there's something catered to giving more information and ways to, trial out these types of technologies by simply going to the Assistive Technology Resource Centers of Hawaii. They are an organization. I do feel like they will be a great resource to parents as well as educators like us to help trial out these particular types of AACs so that we can, effectively use them and see for ourselves whether or not this would work for that student.
How often are you wanting to trial?
Well, progress monitoring is going to be really, really important as far as, when we start implementing a device to trial out. Data has to be taken and has to be ongoing even when we decide on choosing that particular device to be used for the rest of the IEP. This is to ensure that the device is being effective and to ensure that all of us are still in accordance with using the same device for his everyday needs.
How much is this going to be costing me?
I don't think it's going to be costing much. I think for the most part we just need to have everyone involved, have sufficient amount of information and data to back up what we really want to propose to the parents. Once we see that there's enough effective play in this particular device to help the student succeed, we will then have a better backbone as to why we are using such device and ensuring that the student will have a good, successful IEP.
Well, thank you so much for this information. I'll get back to you on bringing this up on our next department meeting.
Great. And that's it.